and friends. At this point, may I ask you to please turn off your cell phones or set them to silent mode. Notice, please, exits are located throughout Comcast. For your safety, look for your nearest exit. In case of emergency, walk, do not run to that exit. Thank you. It gives me great pleasure to welcome the faculty, followed by the May 2014 graduating class. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Dean and the members of his platform party. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, presiding over these ceremonies is Dr. Jayanth Banavar, Dean of the College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences.
Dr. McNutt, Mr. Chen, graduates, distinguished university faculty, professors emeriti, parents, and friends, welcome to the college's May 2014 commencement ceremony. Nelson Mandela once said, "Education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world." Today, you can take the next step in your journey to change the world. We are all very proud of your accomplishments here at the University of Maryland and are honored to be able to participate in your milestone celebration today. And we are especially delighted to graduate our first undergraduate class from the Department of Atmospheric and Ocean Sciences. Now it's my distinct honor to introduce our keynote speaker, Dr. Marcia McNutt. Dr. McNutt is the editor-in-chief of Science magazine, which was founded in 1880 with just $10,000 from Thomas Edison. Today, Science has grown to become the world's leading outlet for scientific news, commentary, and cutting-edge research. Faculty members in our college published more than a dozen articles highlighting their scientific discoveries in this journal in the last year alone. And next year, Marcia will lead Science into the world of open access publishing with its new journal, Science Advances. Prior to joining Science, Marcia served as director of the US Geological Survey from 2009 to 2013. During her tenure, the organization responded to a number of earthquakes and the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, so you might say she's a specialist on disasters. She led the group that provided estimates of the rate of oil discharge during the active phase of the oil spill. She also helped to contain the oil and cap the well. For her contributions, Marcia was awarded the US Coast Guard's Meritorious Service Medal. Before President Obama appointed her to lead the USGS, she served as president and CEO of the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, and she also held an endowed professorship at MIT. Marcia, who is a member of the National Academy of Sciences, earned her PhD in Earth Sciences from the Scripps Institution of Oceanography. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Marcia McNutt.
Well, Thank you very much for that very kind introduction. Greetings, happy class of 2014, very proud parents, distinguished guests, and exhausted faculty. I know it's truly been a team effort to get these students across the finish line, and you are all to be congratulated. I know it's something of a cliche to say that today is not an end, but rather a beginning. But the question is, a beginning to what? True confession here, as I was approaching my own graduation from college and considering what next, my best friend and I hatched a plan. It may not have been a very good plan, but here was our plan. We would take a year off, go to Sun Valley, get jobs at the resort, and be ski bums. My physics professor could barely disguise his disgust at my plan. He instead suggested that I apply for an NSF graduate fellowship, and for my PhD research, I consider investigating this heretical new idea called plate tectonics. I took his advice, and had I not, today I might be living in Ketchum, Idaho, married to a retired ski patrolman named Lance, and applying my physics degree to nothing more challenging than making a hot and cold gin fizz. The fact is that at the time I graduated from college, globally, higher education degrees were rare. In fact, education degrees were rare. From college, they were about 1%. My advisor felt that I was truly one of those who had an obligation to do something with my degree to make a difference, to use science to make the world a better place. Now, many of you are probably saying to yourselves, yes, that you want to do something significant with your education. There are so many important problems to be solved. After all, FedEx tracks down 6.5 million packages each day. So, really, how hard can it be to figure out how to track down 276 Nigerian schoolgirls? Or how can we simultaneously be facing a shortage of critical materials, but also be overflowing our landfills? Isn't this just a supply chain problem? And consider what happens after an earthquake topples a building. We rebuild it to earthquake standards such that it will not fall down again. But consider what happens when a hurricane wipes out a coastal community. We rebuild it just the way it was. Isn't that the definition of insanity? You get the idea. There's a world full of problems worthy of your attention. But where do you start? Well, I certainly didn't start out thinking I had the opportunity to make much of an impact. I started my professional career at an entry-level job at a government agency, the U.S. Geological Survey, struggling to make loan payments and with little control over the scope of what I did. I recall distinctly when a major government program that funds earthquake hazard reduction was up for renewal, and the leadership of the USGS was concerned about showing dramatic progress in earthquake prediction. I was asked to start making measurements of quantities rumored to be earthquake precursors, but that were basically Hail Marys with no grounding in basic science. The more I looked into what I was being asked to do, the more I became convinced that my efforts were pointless, that relatively few earthquakes would ever exhibit any precursory phenomenon because the important parameter was not when an earthquake started, but when an earthquake stopped. That meant the difference between a magnitude 2 earthquake and one that cascaded up into a magnitude 8. 3 decades and several jobs later, I was asked by the president to come to Washington to serve as director of the U.S. Geological Survey. One of my highest priorities was earthquake safety, but I hadn't forgotten the lesson of my futile attempts to chase after imaginary precursors. So instead, the approach we took was based on earthquake early warning, using the time difference between the start of the earthquake and the later arrival of the strong ground motion to provide precious minutes of warning to both the at-risk population and to automated systems to allow people to get to a safe place and systems to enter a safe mode before the shaking starts. The dues I had paid early in my career made me a better director when important decisions needed to be made decades later, and now California is a safer place from earthquake destruction. And it's not just leaders who can make a difference. At one point in my career, as you heard during the introduction, I had the privilege to be at the Monterey Bay Aquarium Research Institute, a laboratory that was founded and funded by David Packard to be a NASA for the oceans, to develop new tools and techniques to explore the oceans in new dimensions and solve the most pressing problems that were threatening the health of the seas. One day, a young IT professional came into my office to tell me he was leaving to join a company in Silicon Valley because the Research Institute didn't pay Silicon Valley wages. Now, our IT staff were very highly valued at the Research Institute because we had basically wired the oceans. Each autonomous vehicle or tethered instrument package had an IP address, and the IT people had to maintain a vast ocean network. But we were in constant competition with Silicon Valley for talent. I told him I regretted that we couldn't offer him more and wished him well. A few months later, he returned, asking for his job back. I asked him why. He said it was because of his mother. When he worked at the Oceanographic Lab, his mother loved the fact that her son was saving the oceans. Now she was no longer bragging about him. He was working for a company writing software to defeat spam filters. It was worth it to him to accept the more modest salary to once again be part of something that was noble. And you don't even have to be a leader, nor do you have to be necessarily at the time working for something noble to make a difference. Some of you might be surprised at the way your talents can make a difference. In 2010, I was called in to help with the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. I spent 4 months at BP headquarters in Houston, working 18 hours a day, 7 days a week, with a team of scientists and engineers from government and industry to control the well and contain the oil. But the real hero of the oil spill is an unknown groundwater hydrologist from the USGS in Menlo Park, California, by the name of Paul Shea. Paul had spent his career as a scientist writing papers with titles like, quote, "Evaluation of longitudinal dispersivity estimates from simulated forced and natural gradient tracer tests in heterogeneous aquifers," unquote. So his work was something that only his immediate peers really cared about. That was until the night of June 15th, 2010. In Houston, we had just shut in the Macondo well with the capping stack on that afternoon. For the first time in 87 days, tens of thousands of barrels of crude oil were not flowing into the Gulf of Mexico each day. But the joy in Houston was tempered by concern over the pressures measured in the capping stack. They were lower than expected. It could mean that the well was leaking below the seafloor, ready to erupt into the ocean through multiple fissures if we didn't, in short order, reopen the capping stack. Or it could mean that the Macondo Reservoir was simply depleted from 87 days of freely flowing. But which was it? Government leaders were so concerned about the possibility of hydrofracture through the ocean floor that they planned to meet the next morning and order that the capping stack reopened and that the oil spill would resume. USGS scientists in Houston sent Paul Shea in Menlo Park the pressure data from the well. Although Shea is a groundwater hydrologist, a reservoir is just a reservoir. He took the data, put aside all of his academic research work, and stayed up all night modeling and interpreting the data. By dawn, he had the answer. He transmitted back to Houston a PowerPoint presentation that convinced government leaders that the best interpretation of the data was a depleted reservoir from 87 days of flow. The Macondo well stayed shut in, and the oil spill ended. So now, as you go forth, class of 2014, it's up to you to decide where you should aim. Are you going to be the ski bum or warn people of impending earthquakes? Are you going to write software to outwit spam filters or save the oceans? Will you be content writing papers that only a handful of experts can read, or will you put that aside, stay up all night, and stop the nation's worst oil spill? My wish to you, class of 2014, is that you'll all find your way to something that really and truly makes a difference, and that in the future your rivals will not say, "Fear the turtle," but rather, "Thank the turtle." Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Marcia, for that inspiring talk.
Will the PhD and master degree recipients from the College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences please rise? Dr. Paul Smith, Associate Dean, will present the graduates. By accepting the faculty's recommendation as presented by the Associate Dean, the Dean will recognize the candidates as having completed all degree requirements.
Dr. Banavar, in accordance with the recommendations of the faculty in the College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences, I request that you recognize these graduates who have successfully completed all requirements for the Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Public Policy, Master of Chemical and Life Sciences, and Doctor of Philosophy.
I'm pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation, and I'm honored to recognize those graduates who have successfully completed all requirements for the degrees of Master of Arts, Master of Science, Master of Public Policy, Master of Chemical and Life Sciences, and Doctor of Philosophy.
Will the audience please join the Dean and the faculty in congratulating the May 2014 advanced degree candidates of the College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences. PhD graduates of academic programs in the college will now receive diplomas and congratulations from the Dean, the Associate Deans, and department chairs, and be hooded by their major advisor. Dr. C. David Levermore, Professor, Institute of Physical Sciences and Technology, will present the graduates from Applied Mathematics and Statistics and Scientific Computation. Joshua Ballou, to be hooded by Dr. C. David Levermore. His dissertation, Mathematical Topics in Fluid Particle Interaction. Brianna Cash, to be hooded by Dr. Diane O'Leary. Her dissertation, Using Domain-Specific Information in Image Processing. Timothy Doster, to be hooded by Dr. Wojciech Jaja. His dissertation, Harmonic Analysis-Inspired Data Fusion for Applications in Remote Sensing. Tyler Dromboski, to be hooded by Dr. David Levermore. His dissertation, geodynamic simulations using the fast multiple boundary element method. Dr. Stuart Vogel will now present the candidates in astronomy. Alan Gersh, to be hooded by Dr. Michael Ahern, Dr. Stuart Vogel. His dissertation, Modeling Optically Thick Molecular Emission Spectra of Comets Using Asymmetrical Spherical Coupled Escape Probability. Dr. Janice Ruitt-Roby will now present the candidates in biochemistry and in chemistry. Luigi Alvarado, to be hooded by Dr. David Fushman. His dissertation, Site-Specific Interaction of Doxorubicin in the Iron Responsive Element RNA, Implications in Cellular Iron Homeostasis and Non-Iron Deficiency Anemia. Chun Gang, to be hooded by Dr. David Fushman. His dissertation, A New Role for the Site 18N Terminus and Three-Dimensional DNA Crystals as Vehicles for Biocatalysis. Ursula Nowicka, to be hooded by Dr. David Fushman. Her dissertation, Structural and Functional Studies of the DNA Damage Inducible UBL-UBA Protein DDI1. Ian Rowe, to be hooded by Dr. Janice Ruitt-Roby. His dissertation, The Gating of the Bacterial Mechanosensitive Channel MCSS reflects its function as a sensor of both crowding and lateral pressure, as well as its role in osmoregulation. Andrea Andrew, to be hooded by Dr. Janice Ruitt-Roby. Her dissertation, Chromophoric Dissolved Organic Matter, CDOM, in the Ocean, Optical Properties, Relation to CDOM Structure and Source, and Effect of Storage. Geraldine Etcheberry, to be hooded by Dr. Amy Mullen. Her dissertation, Isotope Effects in the State-Resolved Collision Dynamics of Highly Excited Molecules. Jia Kui, to be hooded by Dr. Janice Ruitt-Roby. Her dissertation, Electrochemical Analysis on the Charge Transport Properties of Heterogeneous Supercapacitor Electrode Materials. Lauren Graham, to be hooded by Dr. Ruitt-Roby. Her dissertation, Surface-Directed Growth Mechanism of Electrodeposited Metal Nanostructures. Romina Heyman, to be hooded by Dr. Daniel Falvey. Her dissertation, Using Light to Control Chemical Systems, Photochemical Electron Transfer Methods for Releasing Calcium Ions and Photoisomerization of Alkanes to Control Rheology. Guochan Jin, to be hooded by Dr. Michael Zachariah. His dissertation, Understanding and Tuning Nanostructured Materials for Chemical Energy Conversion. Li Fang Ma, to be hooded by Dr. Millard Alexander. Her dissertation, Theoretical Investigation of Collisions of CH2 with Helium Energy Transfer within and between the A and X electronic states of CH2. Frederick Nightgo III, to be hooded by Dr. Phil DeShong. His dissertation, Advances in C-LOX-AIN-based coupling technologies, approaches toward pancreatistatin and streptonigrin. Kelly Sikorsky, to be hooded by Dr. Amy Mullen. Her dissertation, Investigating the Mechanism of Phenol Photooxidation by Chromophoric Dissolved Organic Matter. Christopher Sims, to be hooded by Dr. Brian Eichhorn. His dissertation, Bimetallic Nanoparticles for Advanced Energy Conversion Technologies. Nicholas Sharp, to be hooded by Dr. Alice Minaret and Dr. William McDonough. His dissertation, Lanthanoid Isotopic Composition of Pre- and Post-Detonation Nuclear Material. Cassandra Taylor, to be hooded by Dr. Alice Minaret. Her dissertation, Purple Pepper Plants, an anthocyanin powerhouse, extraction, separation, and characterization. Fong Trong, to be hooded by Dr. Michael Doyle. His dissertation, Applications of 2,3-diketoesters in organic synthesis and stereoselective transformations. Yi Yu, to be hooded by Dr. Brian Eichhorn. Her dissertation, In Situ Studies on Solid Oxide Fuel Cells and Solid Oxide Electrochemical Cells. Jia Zhou, to be hooded by Dr. Herman Sintim. Her dissertation, C-di-GMP Signaling in Bacteria New Opportunities for the Development of Anti-Biofilm Drugs. Dr. Karen Lips, Associate Professor and Director of the Graduate Program in Sustainable Development and Conservation Biology, will present the graduates from Behavior, Ecology, Evolution, and Systematics, Biological Sciences, Marine, Estuarine, and Environmental Sciences, and Neuroscience and Cognitive Science. Mercedes Burns, receiving a degree in Behavior, Ecology, Evolution, and Systematics, to be hooded by Dr. Jeffrey Schultz. Her dissertation, Phylogenetic Exploration of Mating System Evolution in the Eastern North American Liobunin Harvestmen. Clark Rushing, to be hooded by Dr. Michel Dudash. His dissertation, Causes and Consequences of Long-Distance Dispersal in a Migratory Bird, the American Redstart. We're now presenting Biological Sciences. Lisa Hoover, to be hooded by Dr. Kevin McKeever. Her dissertation, Interferon-Dependent and Independent Modulation of West Nile Virus Infections of Human Dermal Fibroblasts. Sharada Vishvanathan, to be hooded by Dr. P.O. Canold. Her dissertation, Distinct Laminar and Molecular Subcircuits of the Subplate Neurons. We're now presenting Marine Estuarine Environmental Sciences. Kara Campbell, to be hooded by Dr. Karen Prestigard. Her dissertation, Identifying the Elusive Dwarf Veg Mussel Habitat through Modeling and Field Approaches. Now, Neuroscience and Cognitive Science. Katie Willis, to be hooded by Dr. Catherine Carr. Her dissertation, Anatomical and Physiological Characterization of the Turtle Brain Stem Auditory Circuit. Dr. James Carton will now be presenting graduates from Atmospheric and Oceanic Science. Stefan Sosalski, to be hooded by Dr. Dalin Zhang, his dissertation on the genesis and predictability of Hurricane Julia. Agzdiro Kavada, to be hooded by Dr. Sumant Nigam, her dissertation, Atlantic Multidecadal Variability, Surface and Subsurface Thermohaline Structure and Hydroclimate Impacts. John Yorks, to be hooded by Dr. Russell Dickerson, his dissertation, An Investigation of Cirrus Properties Using Airborne LIDAR. Dr. Samir Kohler will now present the graduates in computer science. Ron Alford, to be hooded by Dr. Samir Kohler, his dissertation, Search Complexities for HTN Planning. Adijit Biswas, to be hooded by Dr. David Jacobs, his dissertation, Semi-Supervised and Active Image Clustering with Pairwise Constraints from Humans. Timur Chibuk, to be hooded by Dr. Samir Kohler, his dissertation, Causally Guided Evolutionary Computation for Design. Peter Fontana, to be hooded by Dr. Rance Cleveland, his dissertation, Towards a Unified Theory of Timed Automata. Ku Yit Fang, to be hooded by Dr. Michael Hicks, his dissertation, User-Centered Program Analysis Tools. Jayant Kumar, to be hooded by Dr. David Dorman, his dissertation, Efficient Machine Learning Methods for Document Image Analysis. Michael Lamb, to be hooded by Dr. Jeff Hollingsworth, his dissertation, Automated Floating Point Precision Analysis. Glenisha Williams, to be hooded by Dr. Ashok Agrawala, her dissertation, Shrink-Wrapped Security, Tightly Coupling Situation and Security. Derek Wood, to be hooded by Dr. Mihai Pop, his dissertation, Comparative and Computational Methods for Microbial Genomics. Dr. Scott Wolpert, Chair of Mathematics, will present the graduates for mathematics. Travis Andrews, to be hooded by Dr. John Benedetto, his dissertation, Frame Multiplication Theory for Vector-Valued Harmonic Analysis. David Blagg, to be hooded by Dr. Lawrence Washington, his dissertation, Unramified Extension of the Cyclotomic Z2 Extension of Q square root of DI. Claire Wickman, to be hooded by Dr. Kalis Okuju, his dissertation, An Optimal Transport Approach to Some Problems in Frame Theory. Wei Shun Yu, to be hooded by Dr. Alexander Barg, his dissertation, New Upper Bounds for Spherical Few Distance Sets and Related Topics in Harmonic Analysis. Dr. Paul Smith, Associate Dean and Professor in Mathematical Statistics, will present the graduates from Mathematical Statistics. Kevin Diaratna, to be hooded by Dr. Paul Smith, his dissertation, Contributions to Bayesian Statistical Modeling in Public Policy Research. Dr. Norma Andrews, Chair of Cell Biology and Molecular Genetics, will present the graduates from Cell Biology and Molecular Genetics and from Molecular Cell Biology. Matthew Angel, to be hooded by Dr. Siba Samal, dissertation, Reassortment and Gene Selection of Influenza Viruses in the Ferret Model and Potential Platforms for In Vivo Reverse Genetics. Heather Cohen, to be hooded by Dr. Kevin McKeever, her dissertation, The Identification and Characterization of an Intrinsic CD39A2R-based regulatory mechanism that governs macrophage activation responses. Kanika Guerra, to be hooded by Dr. Kevin McKeever, her dissertation, Role of the phosphoenol pyruvate carbohydrate phosphotransferase system in the virulence of the group A Streptococcus. Kenneth Jensen Jr., to be hooded by Dr. Donald Nuss, his dissertation, Functional Characterization of papain-like protease P48 required for replication of hypovirus CHV1 responsible for virulence attenuation of the chestnut blight fungus. Jorge Mendez Rios, to be hooded by Dr. Jeffrey DeStefano, his dissertation, Investigation of Pox virus host range and gene expression in mammalian cells. Swati Shah, to be hooded by Dr. Volker Bricken, her dissertation, Mechanisms of Innate Immune Evasion by Mycobacterium tuberculosis. We're now showing graduates in molecular and cellular biology. Wayne Cabral, to be hooded by Dr. Joan Marini. His dissertation, Recessive Osteogenesis Imperfecta, Prevalence and Pathophysiology of Collagen Prolyl 3 Hydroxylation Complex Defects. Dan Lee, to be hooded by Dr. Zhangqi Lu. Her dissertation, An Investigation of Mechanisms of an Intromediated Gene Silencing. Vanya Paralanov, to be hooded by Dr. John Glass. Her dissertation, Molecular and Bioinformatics Approaches to Redefine Our Understanding of Ureaplasmas Moving Beyond Serovars. Chen Wang, to be hooded by Dr. Michael Ma. Her dissertation, ATG1 plays an antiviral role by regulating lipid droplet metabolism. Chen Xin Yu, to be hooded by Dr. Donald Nuss. Dissertation, Meta-analysis of consensus genome-wide expression QTLs and the relationship with the susceptibility of human complex diseases. Dr. Drew Baden, Chair of the Department of Physics, will now present the graduates from the Department of Physics. Andres Chibarusti, to be hooded by Dr. Luis Orozco. His dissertation, Control Protocols for Manipulation of Ground State Quantum Beats in a Cavity QED System. Clayton Davis, to be hooded by Dr. Carter Hall. His dissertation, A Search for the Neutrinoless Double Beta Decay of Xenon-136 with Improved Sensitivity from Denoising. Benjamin Dreyfus, to be hooded by Dr. Edward Reddish. His dissertation, Interdisciplinary Reasoning about Energy in an Introductory Physics Course for the Life Sciences. Yi Wang, to be hooded by Dr. Ichiro Takuchi. His dissertation, Characterization and Applications of FEGA-PZT multiferroic cantilevers. Dr. Leslie Pick, Chair of the Department of Entomology, will now present the graduates from entomology. Dilip Venugopal, to be hooded by Dr. Galen Dively. His dissertation, Spatial Heterogeneity of Stink Bug, Populations in Agricultural Systems. Please join the Dean in a round of applause for all our doctoral degree recipients. Master's graduates will now receive congratulations. Dr. James Carton, Chair of Atmospheric and Oceanic Science, will present the graduates from Atmospheric and Oceanic Science. Allison Marie Ring. Dr. Karen Lips, Associate Professor and Director of the Graduate Program in Sustainability, Development, Conservation, Biology, will present the graduates in Behavior, Ecology, Evolution, and Systematics, Marine, Estuarine, and Environmental Sciences, and from Biological Sciences. We're doing Biological Sciences. Haifa Beresadan. Dr. Samir Kuhler, Chair of the Department of Computer Science, will present the graduates from Computer Science. Benjamin Klimkowski. Hitesh Maidasani. Temi Dwayne Tran. Nathaniel Parsons. Roberta Rudnick, Chair of the Department of Geology, will now present master's recipients in geology. Palma Jean Jarbo. Dr. Karen Lips will now present the graduates in Sustainable Development and Conservation Biology. Carlos Francisco Disla, Jr. Gretchen Elizabeth Downey. Ashley Victoria Walker. Please join the Dean in congratulating the graduates with master's degrees. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Robert Infantino.
Each year, a student commencement speaker is chosen from our graduating class. This year's speaker is a remarkable young man who fully embodies the entrepreneurship spirit of the University of Maryland. Jonathan Chen is graduating today with a Bachelor of Science degree in Computer Science. On Monday, he'll begin working full-time for Fiscal Note, a company he co-founded while a student here with two friends from high school. Jonathan and his colleagues developed a software platform that aggregates and analyzes government legislation and predicts the passage of bills in all 50 states and in Congress. The company raised $1.2 million in funding last fall, including an investment from Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban, and they recently opened an office which employs 17 people in the DC area. It's with great honor that I introduce to you Mr. Jonathan Chen.
Thank you, Dr. Infantino, for those wonderful words. I couldn't have gotten here today without the continuous support from my friends and family. I love you guys. Also, I want to give a shout out to Brandy and Savannah from the CS department for always being there for me for the last couple of years. And lastly, I want to give a shout out to everyone at the Fiscal Note office in DC. They're working super, super hard while I'm here giving this speech. But enough about me, because today is about you. So let's take a second and congratulate the class of 2014. So before I begin, after seeing the main commencement yesterday, and after seeing President Lowe and Governor O'Malley take a selfie, I was thinking to myself, how often do you get to take a selfie while giving a graduation speech? So I was wondering if you, if you guys don't mind, if I can take a selfie right now. All right. This will only take a second. Cool. All right, enough distractions. So if it isn't obvious by now, today is a very important day. For some of us, it's a day we've been dreading, because the thought of leaving behind what has been our home for the last couple years is daunting. But for others, it's a day we've been waiting for ever since kindergarten. Because honestly, homework sucks. Graduating from college is a huge milestone. When you think about it, school has taken over 17 plus years of our lives. And I feel sorry for the PhDs. It's like 25 years. And throughout those years, we have grown and matured into fine young adults. But the thing I think most people lose on the path to adulthood is a confidence in one's own creativity. If you give children a bunch of crayons and a piece of paper, their imaginations run wild as they create what they believe is the next masterpiece. Children ignore the criticism of others and draw whatever they want. I think we are most creative when we are younger because we don't know our limits and we don't give a, we don't care about what others think. Therefore, as kids, we think we can do the impossible, and we still can. Everyone is innately creative, but most of us are afraid to show it. Because we fear the judgment of others. And additionally, we give up too easily because others who are better and more experienced than us have failed before. My freshman year, I was afraid that people thought my ideas weren't as good as I thought they were. And some of the ideas that I had, I thought, they were impossible to pursue given my lack of experience. However, I quickly decided not to let the opinions of others and the difficulty of the problem hinder my creativity. This led me to start my company, Keynote, which aggregates government legislation across all 50 states and uses artificial intelligence to analyze that information in real time. No, I don't have a PhD in machine learning, although it would have been a lot easier to start this company if I did. So this brings me to my first message. Don't be afraid to be creative and tackle the impossible, even if you think you aren't good enough. Looking back at our grade school days, the tool that sparked a lot of youthful creativity came in the form of a simple crayon. Indeed, as corny as it sounds, I'm about to compare our lives to a bunch of crayons. When you think about it, everything we do, we leave behind a mark, a memory that can never be erased. Every important moment in our lives is just a canvas on which we leave a little part of us behind. Marilyn is one such canvas. Every single one of us has our own unique color that reflects who we are. No one is the same. But if you work and color and play together, the image is breathtaking compared to what could have been achieved alone. Again, each of us represents one color, but together, we are all part of a bigger picture. Together, there's no such thing as impossible, only endless masterpieces waiting to be drawn. Which brings me to my second message. Working together, you can accomplish more than you could have ever done alone. My company, Keynote, couldn't have gotten to where it is today without all the amazing people in it working as a team. As we depart from the University of Maryland and enter the workforce or pursue a higher level of education, I encourage everyone to find something you love to do. I know, sounds cliche, but what's a graduation speech without something cliche? I'll tell you a secret. I'm not that smart. I'm sure the majority of you are much brighter, more brilliant than I am. I'm not valedictorian, nor am I a straight-A student. I didn't even make Latin honors. Sorry, Mom. Instead, I focus my attention towards something I am passionate about. Blindly working hard towards a goal that you're not passionate about is not the way to go. Eventually, you'll break. When I was in Silicon Valley last summer, my team and I worked 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. But you know what? It didn't feel like work. It didn't feel like work because we were working on something that we truly believed in. And it was fun. And occasionally, we went to San Francisco and had some memorable nights, but I won't go into that in detail. But it's this type of hard work that you need to commit to in order to get an investment from someone like Mark Cuban. Find something find something you love to do and work hard, but don't forget to play hard. But sadly, in our generation, in this generation, sometimes it's not enough to work harder or work smarter. You must work more creatively and work as a team. That, my friends, is how innovation is born. Working with others who share the same passion as you will make everything you do much more enjoyable. And as you bounce around ideas and share your experiences with those people, you are more likely to spark innovation or make groundbreaking discoveries. Luckily, you all have an advantage. Look to your right, to your left, behind you, in front of you. You all are sitting here today with people who share the same passion as you. And I bet most of those people are your friends. And if not, you should meet them today and connect with them on LinkedIn or Facebook or Twitter. But don't be afraid to call each other up and work together in the future. Who knows where those projects might take you someday? I started Keynote with friends from middle school, and it has been the most enjoyable experience of my life. And hopefully, we can take our company public one day. I wish all of you the best of luck as you start your new lives as real adults. But don't forget this. We are Maryland Terps, and we represent the School of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences, aka the best college in Maryland. I believe that if there's any group of people that will introduce the next cutting-edge technology or make the next groundbreaking scientific discovery, it's the computer scientists, the mathematicians, the physicists, the chemists, the biologists, the biochemists, the environmental scientists, the geologists, the astronomers, and oceanographers sitting right here in this room. I hope I didn't forget any of you. History has shown us that it has always been we who have pushed humanity forward. Forget the engineering school. Innovation and discovery start with us. Congratulations again, class of 2014. This concludes my long and boring speech. It is time, fellow Terps, to finally come out of our shells. I hope you enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. Thank you for your time, and good luck. Go Terps!
Thank you, Jonathan. Yes, it's all of you who actually make our college the best in Maryland. Congratulations. Jonathan, is your family here?
Yes, over there.
Would you please wave? I'm sure your family is proud of you, Jonathan, as we all are, and I would like to present you with a small token of our appreciation.
Will the baccalaureate degree recipients from the College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences please rise? Dr. Robert Infantino, Associate Dean, will present the graduates. By accepting the faculty's recommendation as presented by the Associate Dean, the Dean will recognize the candidates as having completed all degree requirements.
Dean Banavar, in accordance with the recommendations of the faculty in the College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences, I request that you recognize those graduates who have successfully completed all requirements for the Bachelor of Science degree.
I'm pleased to accept the faculty's recommendation, and I'm honored to recognize those graduates who have successfully completed all requirements for the Bachelor of Science degree.
Will the audience please join the Dean and the faculty in congratulating the May 2014 Baccalaureate degree candidates, the College of Computer, Mathematical, and Natural Sciences. Graduates, please be seated.
Our day is tinged with sorrow because one of our general biology students, Vijay Singh, passed away recently just short of graduation. I'm so pleased to honor his accomplishments by welcoming his mother on stage to receive his diploma.
Vijay Singh. Bachelor graduates of academic programs in the college, please move forward 2 rows at a time to receive congratulations from the Dean, Associate Deans, and the Department Chair. As the students come forward, some will be wearing a red tassel in recognition of their having earned Latin honors. Latin honors are based on overall grade point averages and are designated cum laude, magna cum laude, or summa cum laude. Departmental honors are awarded to those who are invited by the faculty in their respective departments to undertake honors research and will be wearing medallions. Ladies and gentlemen, please hold your applause to a minimum so that each graduate's name can be read and recognized, and done so in a timely and orderly fashion. In addition, out of respect for your classmates and their families, we kindly ask that all graduates remain on the floor until the conclusion of the ceremony. Dr. Bruce James, Professor and Director of the Program in Environmental Science and Policy, will present the graduates in Environmental Sciences and Policy, Earth Surface Processes, Biodiversity and Conservation Biology, and Environmental Geosciences and Restoration.
Jacqueline Levine. Caitlin Seppi. Colleen McMullen. Christopher Riley. Megan Ryan.
Dr. Roberta Rudnick, Chair of Geology, will present the graduates from Geology.
Thomas Duty. Eric Fowler.
Dr. Norma Andrews, Chair of Cell Biology and Molecular Genetics, will present the graduates from Cell Biology and Genetics and Microbiology.
Dijle Sensoi. Zichun Lai Warner. Anthony Neerman. Laura Jones. Josiane Tosa. Allison Furton. Maggie Hotard. Andrew Macaluso. Devin Findlay. Nilufar Masahi. Stephen Anders. Helen Jung. Jenny Lindvall. David Lieb. Elizabeth Parton. Jenny Zhang. Jonathan Huang. Daphne Tan. Catherine Kennedy. Rohini Chowdhury. Kalyani Kumar. Rachel Aponte. Xiaokang Yang. Marcus Brown. Basil Mohammed. Robert Sherman Wood. Kelly Johnson. Evelyn Hernandez. Kateria Ortiz. Robert Wilkie. Ankit Gandhi. Celeste Waman. Marie Estelle Pham. Nathan Shen. Yasmin Abu Talib. Carly Smith. Chuka Udeze. Taylor Carter. Elena Donald. Catherine Ward. Cameron Saunders. Andrea McDowell. Daniel Isan. Alvira Hassan. Oludalapo Ilori. Elfalim Alemu. Kelvin Mansera. Nicole Podesta. Marion Foley. Poley. Elizabeth Williams. Amanda Hom. Prerna Metani. Rachel McCabe. Nicholas Tony. Fatia Saeed. Rachel Evans. Laura Choi. Bianca Wright.
Dr. Scott Wolpert will now present the graduates in mathematics.
Jason Kingsley. Alexander Sherman. Rohan Bale. Maya Werbos. Sarah Cerniker. Jordan Misra. Ishmael Opong. George Gomes. Stephen Sandquist. V. Ngo. Martin Buck. Jacob Shriver. Alexander Baden. Yixin Ren. Luja Su. Yi Ren. Veronica Garcia. Preet Mandavia. Ara Sardar Begians. Christina Gu. Stefan Yap. Justin Yoon. Catherine Arsenault. Julian Gonzalez. Michael Wims. Amy Greenblatt. Alyssa Stafford. Jiankun Liu. Shichan Chen. T. Din. Jamie Schmutter. Ellie Markowitz. Aaron Fisher. Rebecca Kruder. Pedro Zara. Ian McGee. Simon Fox Rabinovitz. Anthony McManus. Rachel Burdett. Emily Kinsella. Edward Yasinich. Mary Sane. Austin Roche. Vasant Joseph. Allison Anders. Lawrence Cho. Gerard Bailey. Jeffrey Line Little. Hannah Hensman. Isha Nathan. Raina Elfkin.
Dr. Karen Lips will now present the graduates from Sustainable Development Conservation Biology. We'll present the graduates from Physiology and Neurobiology and from Ecology and Evolution.
Andy Zinn. John Degnan. Emily Wagner. Kimberly Hodlin. Allison Post. Salome Getna. Tanya Kumar. Jordan Randall. Colin Mummert. Isa Sheikh. Rebecca Abai. Claude Nganzu. Kimberly McIntyre. Armin Bakiri. Jennifer Rodenberg. Zachary Foyer. Robert Reddick. Johannes Genbot. Victoria Giuliani. Alana Paris. Megan Bratcher. Chelsea Robinson. Lauren Margetich. Jared Matthews. Jonathan Luke. Crystal Domingo Canari. Catherine Gagan. Anna Marie Toddles Fassi. Amy Zheng. Praveen Pupala. Mark Lee. Arsha Patel. Shay Whitaker. Ian McBee. Kurt Earhart. Alan Tolles. Victoria Gallahan. Juan Casal Valero. Leandra Sidor. Spencer Alayos. Linda Otieno. Subashri Nayak. Kevin Edinburgh. Mikias Wolde. Monica Patel. Hannah Kleiman, Nicole Earps, Melissa Nicholas, Erica Cranston, Melissa Chima, Jaya Shamnani, Sapna Gopala Subramanian, Ragini Ganju, Hina Ijaz, Binta Abdullahi, Deborah Ngan, Nicole Mullen, John Bruce, Samuel Metz, Alexandra Fitzgerald, Megan Quinn, Megan O'Donnell, Alexandra Mahoney, Hallie Green, Jonathan Hendricks, Tanya Abraham, Scott Bertolino, Amanda Auerbach, Taylor Goldbeck, Sue Boo, Rishi Chadha, Utsav Patel, Michael Branham, Christopher Kavanaugh, Caroline Moore, Eileen Chu, Laura Fangmeyer, Nathaniel Lowe, Alexander Henry, Francis Peabody, Bradley Rule, Emily Leonard, Kayla Amin, Ariana Fazy, Benjamin Signor, Sina Shakhamatdar, Nicole Reed, John Jenkins, Adam Siegel, Jordan Limsky, Brendan Bowie, Miriam Adunda, Wilson Chan, Diego Quiroga, Zachary Willis, Clayton Herron, David Schaub, Matthew Carr, Allison Pastor, Leandra Bitterfeld, Nikki Callie, Sequoia Austin, Victoria Poon, Anjali Jain. Seema Shekhar. Matthew Glicksman. Kevin Sistani. Daniel Hughes. Vikas Mishra. Adil Haq. Cerise Kleb. Victoria Ju. Samuel Jones. Sarah Bao. Camille San Miguel. Ashley Zahn. Brian Barnett. Erica Saunders. Noshin Syed. Reina Calaraco. Frank Shao. Hey. Ryan Wallace. Kendra Lane. Jane Sue. Mega Sood. Andrew Chang. Deborah Steller. David Roberts. Brooke Teffery. Shakzaib Syed. Fiduk Nguyen. Tammy Sung. Sheena Tadikonda. Cindy Kwan. Hamdi Awadallah. Dua Zohair Shahade. Lucille Ridgell. Virasi Badai. Shannon Ferguson. Diana Cronenberg. Lauren Nasrawi. Fianfolu Adetunji. Justine Chow. Selena Meyer. An Nguyen. Navia Karkata. Ryan Shute. Sawyer Spurry. Matthew King. Nadira Nasser. Ishin Lin. Anais Zarate. Danielle Logan. Naima Latif. Sana Ashraf. Devashish Gamire. Harpreet Singh. Anna Raymond. Abiodun Adeoshun. Ankur Patel. Paran Patel. Shanni Patel. Sapna Khemka. Sona Patel. Jay Patel. Snegda Kavala Kolanu. Kalbal Kolanu, excuse me. Vinay Malikarjun. Radhika Lakhani. Saurabh Gupta. Rahim Abdullah. Kelsey Levikas. Rebecca Pavix. Dao Hong. Anazira. Kristen Schmidbauer. Melissa Trong. Franklin Ekun Satan. Ayomide Igun. Brian Apuaka. Dacilia Willoughby. Christopher Lee. Payman Tavakoli. Volnetti Alvarez. LaDonna Kears. Melvin Larker. Tiffany Liu. Stella Wong. Stephanie Ma. Rachel Lee. Jessica Liu. Gautam Rao. Jessica Lee. Brooke Lubinsky. Reshma Kariel. Mindy Chen. Melissa Yu. Maggie Fung. Robert Kai. Brian Lynn. Stephanie Levy. Megan Potter. Brandon Wishno. Sankirth Manna. Andrew Lee. Noah Smith. Shireen Majidi. Gabriel Yepes. All right, thank you.
To turn her.
Dr. James Carton, Chair of Atmospheric and Oceanic Science, will present the graduates from Atmospheric and Oceanic Science.
Thomas Kelly. Jeremy Mayo Johnson. Catherine Ann O'Brien. Krista Summer Udit. Christy Jane Weber.
Dr. Stuart Vogel, Chair of Astronomy, will present the graduates from Astronomy.
David Wayne Blankenship, Jr. Andrew Ryan Lerman. Lily Michelle Manoia. Thomas James Rimlinger, double major with mathematics. Do you want all of it? No, that's fine. Mohammed Khan. Okay. Steve Young. David Marsh. Ryan Felton. Antoni Gaetani.
Dr. Janice Ruitt-Roby, Chair of Chemistry and Biochemistry, will present the graduates from Biochemistry and Chemistry.
Hillary Coach. You want to know them? Sure. Okay. Thomas Jacob Lewis. Okay. So not Miller. Okay. Arfan Bashir. Okay. Stephanie Zelisak. Okay. Sarah Gibbons. How do you pronounce your name?
Mercy Oludo Akobata, but just say anyhow you want. It's fine.
How do you say last name? Okay. Mercy Babatape, also majoring in microbiology. Do you want your middle name? Yeah. Okay. Alex Joseph Guzman. Woo! Conine, do you want your middle name?
Sure.
Okay. Tyler Ross Conine. Kara Ann Levin. Okay. David Albert Sayer, also majoring in physiology neurobiology. Okay. Catherine Elizabeth Mersinger. Do you want your middle name? Aaron. Okay. Yeah. Melanie Aaron Hardy. Christian Allen Abbott. Connor P. Reeves. Andrew Thomas Pajak, doubling with microbiology. Okay. Megan Connie Kramer, doubling with physiology neurobiology. Sarah Lee Chase. Okay. Louis Jacob Copeland. Do you want your middle name? Yes. Okay. Mira? Mira. Okay. Dana Mira Lehman. Carla Alyssa Davis. Aubrey Greer. Say in Kwak. V Tran Ho. Larissa Wee. Selena M. Jacob. didn't know if you wanted the other one. Angio Ray Bellin. Okay. Mears. Okay. Brian Mears, doubling with cell bio and genetics. Okay. Robert Moy, doubling with physiology, neurobiology. Okay. Shreet Tran. How do you pronounce it? Ingrid Guewa Tanto? Okay. Ingrid Guewa Tanto. Okay. Doreen Alexandra Medal Amwa. Okay. Duh. Tarika Holland. Congratulations. Okay. Enchil? Kobina Enchil. Nangbira Mungaro? Vuong? Okay. John Vuong. Okay. Valerie Cohen? How do you pronounce it? Just Tai? Danny Tai. Okay. Okay. Byung Jin Kang? Yep. Viet Nguyen, double in computer science. Tyler Thompson? Amit Aurora? Okay. Should I know? Okay. Chemistry, Zuhur Fatima Saman. Okay. Marcy Wiggins? Wen E. Yang? Okay. Hina Patel? Okay, tell them your names.
Okay.
Anshi Manocho? Anshi Manocho? Do you want the rose? Okay. Rhiannon Rose Aguilar? Congratulations. Okay. Purna Shrikumar.
Nita Hassan.
Okay. Nita Hassan? Okay. Pamela Hope Gorgie?
Akshay Kaluri.
Akshay Kaluri?
Yeah.
Okay. Akshay Kaluri?
Garrett Sinnott.
Okay. Garrett Sinnott? Okay. Allison Kime? Zoe Melissa Wright? Okay. Joseph Devlin, doubling with general biology. How do you pronounce your last name?
Popowski.
Okay. Nicholas Papawaski? Okay. Christine Knaus?
Erin Norcross.
Okay. Erin Norcross?
Jeremy Knipple.
Okay. Jeremy Knipple?
Benjamin Rooksopa.
Benjamin Rooksopa?
Nicole Shong.
Nicole Shong? Javier Antonio Fuentes Cabrera. Okay. Alex Hoffer? Hannah Aaron Bower? Do you want your middle name? Okay. Bonnie Carney. Do you want your middle name?
Oh, it doesn't.
Okay. Leo Julius Pierce. Do you want your middle name?
True.
Okay. Austin James Height. Do you want your middle name? Okay. Melissa Lynn Meyerson. Alice Coonan. Matthew Daniel Collins. Okay. Kristen Benke. Unhei? Yeah. Okay. Mary Unhei Chang.
Callum McLean Sowell.
How do you pronounce her name?
Callum McLean Sowell.
McLean? Okay. Kellen McLean Sowell. Benjamin Katz.
Fahad Khan.
Fahad Khan.
Dominguez.
Okay. Christopher Dominguez. Okay. Jordan Moss. Okay, do you want your middle name? Sure. Okay. Alicia Rubin Jacobson. Leszczynski? Do you want your middle name? Sure. Okay. John Samuel Leszczynski. Do you want your middle name?
No, thanks.
Are you Boughton?
Bowden.
Boughton, okay. Andrew Boughton?
David Kunsberg.
Okay. David Kunsberg? Sarah Lee? How do you pronounce your middle name? Okay. Greta Park? Okay. Elijah?
Sure. Just one sec.
Okay.
Dr. Samir Cooler, Chair of Computer Science, will present the graduates from Computer Science.
I forgot. Did you want the Elijah? Okay. Joel Elijah Wang.
Jason Wong.
Okay. Jason Wong. Juntin Wong. Olivia Renee Outlaw. Naomi Elise Wilcox.
Let's just say Mofi Taiwo.
Mofi Taiwo.
Yes.
Mofi Taiwo.
Justin Coop.
Justin Koo.
Say it myself. Tom Desquarius Drawer.
Tom, what's his name?
Desquarius.
Desquarius. Okay. Tom Desquarius Drawer. Marielle Rose Bartolome. Tarektican. Peter Tarektican. Barenhouse. Joshua Aaron Barenhouse.
Daniel Moshe Michaelis.
Daniel Moshe Michaelis.
Joshua Frederick Kafiafet IV.
Joshua Frederick Kafiafet IV. How do you pronounce it? Southall? Just making sure. Okay. Stephen E. Southall, double major with mathematics.
Gift to Alex Schwartz.
Okay. Alex Schwartz. Kevin Lee. Is it Burdett?
Yep.
Martin Burdett.
I'm also double major. Leon Zhang.
In
Math.
CS?
Math.
Oh, math. Okay.
Okay.
Leon Zhang, double major with math. Do you want your middle name? Okay. Michael Argo. Rongjian Lan. And we leave it here. Do you want your middle name? Okay. Alexa Greenberg. Catherine Helligman.
Can you say that double major?
Yep. And do you want your middle name? Okay. Jacqueline Baker, double major with mathematics.
Corey Chintafonte.
Corey Chintafonte. Okay. Kamaran James.
Pascal Block.
Okay. Pascal Block. Jonathan Chen. Congratulations. Do you want your middle name?
You can skip it.
Okay. Jordan Williams. Oludemi?
Yeah.
Bori Deo Oludemi. Okay. Vinny Vendemia. Jaron Butler.
It's Tao.
Okay. Jeffrey Tao. Do you want your middle name? Earl? Okay. Ian Carter.
Adrian
Nwadrobi?
Yeah.
Okay. Adrian Nwadrobi. Alexander Goli. Kamara? Yeah. Okay. Abdul Kamara. Marcus Jackson. Do you want your middle name?
Doesn't matter.
Okay. Brandon Corey Whitehead.
Eddie Davis.
Okay. Eddie Davis.
Navneet Singh.
Okay. Navneet Singh. Do you want your middle name?
Sure.
Okay. Kevin Tyler Birchfield. William Warshaw. Peter Liu. How do you pronounce it? Okay. Sopal Chai. Andrew Lally. Arvinder, and do you want your middle name? Dylan?
Sure, yeah.
And Singh? Okay. Arvinder Dylan Singh. Symington?
Yeah, Simon.
Dylan Symington.
Yeah, dude!
Sawyer Symington.
Good, Sawyer!
Leslie Gong. Kyle Nissen.
Go, Kyle!
Sleepaway.
Sleepboy, okay. Conrad Sleepboy. Jeffrey Martin. Jonathan Frank. Jarrett Klein. Danny Bauman. Samuel Branham. Stephanie Hua. Aldubi? Okay. Benjamin Aldubi Schwartz. Pazalakis? Yes. Nicholas Pazalakis. Vincent Chen. Fei Zhang. Kamju? Okay. Joshua Sherwin Kamju.
Kriti Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy? Okay. Krithi Ramaswamy.
That's Nathan Yang.
Okay. Nathan Yang. Jeremy Azumande Falek? Ozymandias, okay. Jeremy Ozymandias Falek. Emily Astor Jones, double majoring with physiology neurobiology. Joseph Owen. Okay. Robert Brownstein. Are you two or three? You're two, okay. Graham Allen Welch, double majoring with computer science and math. Rabinovich? Okay. Daniel Rabinovich. Corey Jason Robbins. Lewis Bell. What's your name?
Brandon Smith.
Brandon Smith. Eric Reed. Christopher Snyder. Samuel David Wolfand. David Weitzman. John Burns. Philip Fleck.
Rohit Manga.
Rohit Manga?
Yeah.
Rohit Manga.
Richard Lay.
Richard Lay.
Luke Valenta.
Luke Valenta. Pizzarelli? Okay. Sorry. George Pitarelli.
Sorry, I don't have the card.
Okay. How do you pronounce it? Okay. GIED. Sorry. Okay. Nathaniel Leibolt. Craig Liam Kenny. Kevin Everett Madura. Kevin Owens. Jairam Patel. Everett Lum. Hard. Michael Yifan Wang. Which, do you want all of it? Andres Felipe Garcia Gaitan. Thomas John Georgian.
Alan Buabushashar.
How do you say it one more time?
Buabushashar.
Buabushashar?
Buabushashar.
Okay. Alan Bubushashar. Fushenko?
Fuxenko.
Fuxenko, okay. Yuri?
Yep.
Yuri Fuxenko.
Javier Renato Garcia Carranza.
Javier Renato Garcia Carranza. Do you want your middle name?
What?
Do you want your middle name?
Sure.
Okay. Catherine Elise Tomsek.
I'm so sorry.
Sorry, I didn't do that. Anita Clarice Jorgensen.
Laura Marielle Boucher.
Loria Marielle Buzek. Gabriel Hollies.
John Fleester.
John Fleester. Patrick Michael Vaughn.
Villarubia.
Mark Villarubia.
Double degree in linguistics.
I'm sorry?
Double degree in linguistics.
Okay. Scott Dubinsky, double degree in linguistics. Francis Donato Regano. Richard Peter Humulak. Okay. How do you pronounce Kaneki?
Yeah.
Okay. Daniel Manuka Kaneki, double degree in biochemistry. Kevin Keller. William Benjamin Goldsnyder. Orr. Okay. Michael P. Orr. David Sweeney. Gideon Popkin. How do you pronounce it? Tat Huang. How do you pronounce it?
Abdul Azim Sheikh.
Okay. Abdul Azim Sheikh. How do you pronounce it?
Aditya Malik.
Okay. Aditya Malik, double degree with mathematics. Lundfelt?
Yep.
Okay. Tyler Scott Lundfelt. Justin Singer. Do you want the junior?
Sure.
Okay. Gary Allen Brendel Jr. Zaruba?
Yeah.
Okay. Michael Zaruba.
Eppinger.
Okay. Aaron Michael Eppinger.
Kyle Rush.
Kyle Rush. Okay. Victoria Lai, double degree with economics.
Eric Ty.
Eric Tai.
Gal.
Andrew Gao.
Double degree of management.
With management? Okay. Do you want your middle name? So how do you pronounce
Sergeyevich.
it? Sergeyevich. Plisov?
Plisov.
Okay. Sergey Sergeyevich Plisov, double degree with management.
Debbie Roeder.
Okay. Kevin Roeder.
Ayobami Olayeraju Alo.
Ayobami Olayaraju Lalo.
Alo. Olayeraju Alo.
Okay. Ayobama Olarayaju Alo.
Kevin Zhang, double major math.
Math?
Yeah.
Kevin Zhang, double major in math. Dalton Wu. Carrie Zhou. Shua Feng. Alex Chow Wu. Sorry.
Dr. Leslie Pick, Chair of Entomology, will present the graduates from General Biology.
Jigisha Shrivastava. Alina Kukina. Miriam Fikri. Alex Nielsen. Okay. Jacqueline Samantha Weiss. Farhan Ali Shah. Soraya Zagat. Rachel Gao. Christian Ruiz. Bin Nguyen. Veronica Sun. Hayden Christina Julia Park. Tolam Gwyn. Natalie Anzuras. Hiba Syed. Kalaya Miller. Is it Kara? Yes. Okay. Melissa Kerr. Elise Mosison. Christelle Ngachu. Mary Kate Cronin. Dunia McManus. Grace Sana Lee. Leanne Michelle DeBorgia. Lauren Rose. Cassidy Quinn Pickles.
Christopher Anthony Messina.
Christopher Anthony Messino. Gee, I don't know what your name is. Sarah Emily Gordon. Okay. Carolyn Amanda Murray, double degree in animal sciences. Amy Hong. Howie Itana. Joseph Park. Nacian? Okay. Kathleen Diane Nacian. Nicole Victoria Fitz. Reichel? Okay. Graham Reichel. Tyler Thrasher. Allison Larcombe. Gottlieb? Okay. Samantha Farin Gottlieb. Arabach. Gabrielle Arabach. Do you want your middle name? Yeah, okay. Jeremy Samuel Levin.
It's Gilstein.
Okay. Joshua Randy Gilstein. Samantha Dawn Parr. Do you want the? Yeah. Oh, that's the fourth, right? Yes. William Harrison Evans the fourth. Nicole Elizabeth Tobin. Eliach? Okay. Rachel Beth Eliach. Nicole Elizabeth Snell.
Ignore the middle letter, just first names.
Okay. Brandon Madsen.
Robert Wayne Wyke III.
Robert Wayne Wyke III. Jonathan David Kahn.
It's Shadow, like S-H-A-D.
Okay. Brian Charles Shadow. Brett Barker. Dina Danji. Melissa Lewis.
Sisson.
Sisson, okay. Thomas Joseph Sisson. You ready?
Yeah.
Ryan Lee. I wasn't sure if he was looking for a phone or what. Coman? Coman, okay. Matthew Robert Coman.
Nima Farshadi.
Okay. Nima Farshadi. Emily Morgan Roark. Nikita Samantha Wong. Lauren Oglesby. Kristen Fischler. Nicole Kirchhoff, double degree in psychology. Okay. Emily Rose Raffetto. Sophia Wang. Shanali Nayak. Utkala Segu. Shuffle, okay. Trevor Scheffel. Julia Noel Bush. Okay. Thomas Ross Horschkamp. Okay. Casey? Okay. Casey Baker, double majoring in environmental science and technology. Patrick Joseph Wolfgrim. Tanvir? Okay. Sana Tanvir. Shema Jimmy. Jimmy. Okay. Killian Gloth. Daniela Nussbaum. Gregory Loeb. Carly Brewer.
Neil Hegda.
Hegda?
Yeah.
Okay. Neil Hegda.
Eric Endress.
Eric Endress. Matthew Bourne. Okay. Maxwell Ambrosino. Croft? Yeah. Okay. Nell Croft?
Leahy.
Okay. Elizabeth Joanne Leahy?
Jack Chen. Jack.
Okay. Jack Chen? William Chow? Sarah Robbins? Oh, you don't want to know. Okay. Mark Flaubert? David Pratico?
James Kohler.
Okay. James Kohler? Chan Mi Kim? Rebecca Yang? Lori Shin? Do you have your, oh, you don't need a card.
Dr. Andrew Baden will now present the graduates from physics and from physical sciences.
Not so you get that. Elliot Boer?
It's a double degree.
Okay. Theodore Brennan, double degree with mathematics.
Benjamin Cahill, double degree.
Okay. Benjamin Cahill, double degree with computer science. Bilal Niazi? Okay. Bilal Niazi.
Alexander Ridgeway.
Alexander Ridgway. How do you say it? Ike Chukwu? Ike?
Yeah,
Ike Chukwu. How do you pronounce it? I'll try. Vadim Andreevich Korotkich.
Hannelore Gerling Dunsmore, and I'm a double major with math.
Hannelore Gorling Dunsmore, double major with mathematics.
Echevers.
Okay. Jonathan Echevers.
Roger Curley, also physics. I started physics, math, and astronomy.
Okay. Roger Curley, also doubling with astronomy and math. Kushner? Okay. Max Garrett Kushner. Austin J. Baker.
Yes.
Samuel Sotoff, doubling with mathematics. Nasif Syed Ahmed? Okay. Nasif Syed Ahmed.
Can you also mention Lieutenant United States Air Force?
Lieutenant?
Yep, United States Air Force.
Okay.
Yep.
Alexander Christian LeBlanc, Lieutenant, United States Air Force. I want to let them do that before I say them.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Julia Ruth. Noah Roth Mandel.
3 degrees.
Okay. Are they
Astronomy.
all degrees?
Yeah.
Okay.
Chemistry and astronomy.
Okay. Ludwig or Ludwig?
Ludwig.
Okay. Kevin George Ludwig, 3 degrees, physics, chemistry, and astronomy. I'll wait till they dive on it. Joseph Paul Thomas. Sean Michael Kelly. Michael Robert Lynn. Or should I? Okay. Now presenting students in physical sciences. Shahan?
Yep.
Okay. Shahan Hack. Jacqueline Lobriza. Stephanie Carroll Sanchez. Vernon Donald Cutting III. Jamel Orlando Lugg. Stephen Lee. Okay. Pronounce it. Shahriar Shahami, General Biology.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dean Jayanth Banavar.
Graduates, we are immensely proud of you, and we are honored to know we played a part in your growth and development during your time in College Park. Will all those in the audience who are family members and friends of our graduates, please stand. Graduates, you did not go on this journey alone. Please stand and join me in recognizing and thanking all those who have supported you along the way. Please be seated. It's easy for me to predict that you will all reflect fondly on your experiences here at the University of Maryland. I know this because alumni tell me very frequently how much the University of Maryland continues to mean to them long after they graduate. Please come back and visit us often and stay in touch, and we will always be proud of everything you accomplish. You are really going to be part of our family and our lives forever. I will end now with one last piece of wisdom from Eleanor Roosevelt. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Congratulations to the class of May 2014.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. George Stanchev, CMNS Alumni Association.
Thank you. Dean Banavar, distinguished guests, faculty, proud parents, family and friends, dear academic brothers and sisters, it is such a privilege to be standing here today before this crowd of bright young men and women and celebrating with them the passage of this important milestone in their lives. Congratulations, class of 2014. Congratulations, you've come a long way. You're at the cusp now. You hang suspended in the moment, in this moment when you're virtually still students, because I'm sure you still owe a book or two to the library. But you're ready to make that leap forward and become alumni officially of this great university and this awesome college of ours. So when I first started thinking about what to say today, I had this idea that I would ask you to roll the tape back to the moment when you first entered this place and bring you mentally to that first day of classes. You know, the frantic hustle and bustle around campus, the excitement, the anticipation. I was going to ask you to remember these first weeks of transition into your life as a student and how you immersed yourselves in study and research and how you became part of our academic family. And I was going to point out how during your years at university, your academic family was there for you. The faculty, the university staff, your fellow students. How they were your everyday source of wisdom and support. And maybe I was going to have a clever little segue and allude to the fact that actually a large fraction of your academic family, a mostly invisible but massive majority, exists outside the university walls. And if you're a physicist, you know what I'm hinting at. And I was hoping to drive that point further and make you aware that perhaps some of the support and wisdom that you have received during your years at this place may have come from someone on the outside, someone who has walked this path before you, someone from the alumni side of your academic family. Perhaps it was some lab equipment or computer hardware. Perhaps it was a travel scholarship or career advice, a summer internship, a book at the library. There's so many ways to make a difference in a student's life. Yes, I was going to tell you all that, but I won't, because the moment is short, and you hang in suspense now, ready to make that leap forward. And I can't wait another minute to see you on the other side. And also Scott Wolpert told me that I should be quick, and he ought to know better because he was on my thesis committee. But I'm asking you to keep in your mind that notion of making a difference for those who follow in your footsteps. The notion of staying connected with your academic family. Even if it's just to send postcards from your trip to Antarctica, or link to the press release about your recent discovery of the answer to the ultimate question of life. There are many things you can do to keep connection alive and to help our community grow stronger and tighter. Just ask, or come up with an idea yourself. We're scientists, after all. Establish an outpost or simply check with your department periodically to keep your contact information up to date. Our college has one of the most active alumni association groups at the university, thanks to a very energetic executive board and the dedicated support from Dean Banavar and Andrea Morris, our Assistant Dean of Development. You can find us on the web, follow us on Facebook and LinkedIn. And if you ever are here in this area in September, you're always welcome to join us for the annual Crab Fest on the Eastern Shore. It's fabulous. So go on, make that leap forward, join the club, expand the network, and keep thinking about making a difference for your fellow Terps, both here on campus and out in the world. Remember that you may have been a student for half a dozen years or less, but you're going to remain an alum for life. Congratulations again, best of luck, and keep in touch.
Will the audience please rise and join in singing the alma mater, to be led by Dr. Lucy Chen. The words may be found on the back cover of the college's commencement program. Please remain standing and remain in place for the recessional led by the platform party, followed by the faculty, followed by the graduates. Parents, spouses, relatives, family, and friends are invited to join the graduates outside.